Yeah, so welcome. This is Being a Man Festival. This is our fourth year running. And yeah, it's a festival, or this year's theme for the festival is what makes a man. But first of all, who we have here is Kenny Mamarella-D'Cruz, who was named the Man Whisperer by Newsweek, who has run men's groups for over 16 years. And what we're going to have today is him sharing a snippet of a men's group with us here today. So I'll leave him to really introduce and us to experience what that looks like. Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome Kenny Mamarella-D'Cruz.
Thank you. So I started men's groups about 16 years ago, basically because I wanted more depth in my relationships with men and I wanted more out of life and to share more. So today I have these, which are basically the ground rules from the check-in round, so you can run your own men's group. And I thought, rather than chatting and making it all about me, what we might do, the groups are usually 2.5 hours. So apart from the intro and outro, we've got 10 minutes between the four of us to demonstrate a men's group. The first thing we do after we agree on the ground rules, which you've got a copy of, is 2 minutes silence. So that's usually 2 minutes to just get present in the room and leave busyness as much and busy heads as much at the door. And the next thing I do is the check-in round. So one of the ground rules is you can say pass at any stage, and this is just to check in. You answer whatever it is you want to from the sheet.
Okay, so my name is Neil. I feel right now nervous and excited. What I want from this group is to show you what we do in our men's groups. I'm 48. I am Chinese Siamese Rooster, Western Sign Libra. I'm single, separated, a father. My sexuality is discovering the lovely feelings in my own body. I also consider myself to be bisexual. My favourite piece of clothing, I like these shiny shoes very much right now. They've replaced my itchy trainers. The last time I ejaculated, early hours of Sunday morning. My greatest fear right now, holding back. I'm sick of, I hate holding back. I love my son and what he will become. I am an emerging man.
Thank you.
Cool. My name is Paul. I feel nervous as well, obviously on stage. What do I want from this group? To share my emotions with you. My age is 40. Chinese sign is Snake, Western sign Taurus. I'm in a relationship with a woman. I have stepchildren. My sexuality is straight. Favourite piece of clothing, Converse, of course. Last time I ejaculated was yesterday. My greatest fear right now is not reaching my full potential. I'm sick of, I hate the busyness of London sometimes. I love my family. I am present.
Thank
name is Bertie. I feel surprisingly nervous. What I want from this group is not much. Kenny just asked me up here and I'll be going on the solo because it's scary. My age is 24. Chinese sign is monkey. My Western sign is Capricorn. I'm single and on the market. My sexuality is straight. My favourite piece of clothing. I've got some tie-dye socks which I break out sometimes. Probably don't. The last time I ejaculated was yesterday. My greatest fear right now is probably the last question, reading that out in front of an audience. I am sick of really cold London winds. I love kimchi. I am here.
So, my name's Kenny. I feel a lot mellower now after listening to everyone. I don't even feel nervous actually. I feel quite happy up here. I feel calm and happy. What I want from this is so you get an experience of how simple it is to hang out and answer some questions and know where you are and where other people are and how things can be easily kicked off. So please take the leaflet and do it at home. I'm 53, a Virgo dragon, I'm married, I'm straight. I love Paul Smith. I got married in these socks. These are my favourite socks. Last time I ejaculated last night. Greatest fear right now is that I might fall off the stage and break something like my teeth. But hey, it's not going to happen. I'm sick of some nonsense that goes on in my head, and then I kind of listen to it and I work it out, and a lot of it's just judgments and fears from the past that just aren't here. I love that I can listen to them and think, that's not true anymore, rather than believe it and have a dialogue with that. I'm really chuffed to be here with these guys. I'm really chuffed to be here and hang out with you lot. And the next thing that we do after checking in is just think, what in the group do we have in common? And the next thing that we might get into might be something about holding back. What is it that stops us from moving forward more? And then we talked about potential. So the next round might be taking it a bit deeper once we hear what's in the room, or once we hear what's around us. Shall we do a quick one of that? Is, off the top of my head, the thing that holds me back might be?
Something that holds me back, maybe what I imagine, how I imagine other people will judge me, and that I feel maybe I have to collapse to that. Something of my boyishness there, perhaps. Judgments, negative judgments in my head and what I imagine are in others.
Thank you.
The thing that holds me back is probably the feeling of loss of freedom, time running out, taking on too much commitment, stressing myself out. So I'm trying to let that stuff go.
The thing that holds me back is mainly maybe, I think there's like a lot of judgments, particularly with myself, self-judgments, I don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. Or it might be just fear of other people's judgments and wanting to be liked by everyone instead of following what I really want to do.
Thank you. One of the things that holds me back is a lack of education. I feel that most people have had a better education than me. And right now I could say one of the fears is what if someone asks me a question and it's a big or clever word and I don't know what it means. So interesting for us to name what's holding us back, and then we could go deeper, or we could explore what we have in common further, or how to turn that around. So that's 10 minutes gone already, which means we've got 5 minutes left. And in the next 5 minutes, I wonder if there are any questions or any comments from anyone about running a group, being in a group, or anything at all. Go for it.
What impact has this group had for all of you who've been involved?
Anyone?
Good question. I think, for the last 3 years I've been in groups on and off, so it's really helped me understand like the death of my father, because he died when I was 12, how I took on responsibility for everybody that was around me, from girlfriends to my brother to clients. So it really helped to get perspective on these things, and talking with different guys from different backgrounds. My conversation was different with each person. So yeah, and there's some great people in the groups.
I've learned just like so much. I particularly enjoy the groups where there's older people, like there's people like 70, 80 that come along, and to talk with them about their experiences and to hear their life stories has just been so valuable. And yeah, I've been going for like a year and a half or something, and yeah, I couldn't imagine my life without it really. It's been brilliant. Yeah.
Anything from you?
Yeah, I was severely mentally ill in my 20s. I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. I still take antipsychotics. I've been in this group for 5 or 6 years. I have friends now, and I take half the dose of medicine I took 5 years ago.
Go for it.
Does your check-in always follow the same pattern?
Yes, and
Can you tell me why that is prescriptive in that way? I just want to understand that.
it's the way that we do it, and it's not a rule. So if anyone wishes to do anything differently, same with the ground rules, if anyone needs, before we start, I ask people, is there anything you want to add, take away or haggle? So everyone in the group owns the group, and there are no hard and fast rules. That way everyone takes ownership. And now I'm running a facilitation program that we're all doing the first Sunday of the month, and that's to train people to run their own groups so they can take their groups into their communities and do it their way, to speak the language of the people in their communities that need something like this. So it's a free-for-all with some structure so people can buy in and take ownership. How are we doing for time?
1 minute 40 seconds.
Right, go for it.
I was going to say, what activities do you actually do in the group? Is it just all, we just read out?
In the main groups we talk, open groups and closed groups. Last Sunday we hired a farm in Essex. It was International Men's Day. So we had the idea of just hiring a farm, hanging out in nature, lighting a fire, cooking, eating, walking, swinging from trees, whatever.
We had prime mash farmers.
Did you?
That was our stuff.
Excellent. But then we've done other stuff. Some of us have been to Morocco for a few days, so we kind of
Is it
like...
like mindfulness?
Sorry?
Like mindfulness?
There's that as well. I mean, we've done yoga together, we've been to comedy places together, we've shouted and screamed to get it out of our system, so there are different things at different times depending on what's up and what people want.
Question.
Yeah.
Why no women in the group, or why men specifically?
I've run women's groups and I've run mixed groups, and the weird thing is when men are with men, we act in a certain way. As soon as there's a woman in the room, people change. And I found the same with the women's groups, as soon as we kind of got together and had a mixed groups, everyone acted a bit different. And I felt quite honoured that in the women's groups they didn't act any differently until other men were in the groups, and maybe I'm part of the sisterhood as well as the brotherhood. Is that time up?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Go for it.
You challenge men's behaviour, like sexism, competition, power from a rational perspective. Do you challenge that, or is it what?
Rather than challenging as in that's wrong, that's bad, it's, I think the way that we communicate is generally questions. So we find out why. Why are you feeling that way? Where does that come from? And then everyone finds out about themselves and where they're coming from, rather than judging good or bad and these are our rules. So it's open to everyone and everything, and everyone gets to know who they are, maybe who they could be or who they no longer need to be, and then there's growth. So it's not right or wrong, it's more why. It's an exploration. Fair to say?
Yeah, behind those darknesses in us, when we talk them through, there's gold. So behind sexism I may have had in the past, there's gold there of something much more joyous and enriching as well.
So it's the journey. We're on a journey together. Time up. Thank you. Thank you very much.